everyone, welcome back to the session. So in the previous classes we have discussed about the long answer questions in the first year. So in yesterday's class we have discussed about this ecology and environment long answer questions. We have stopped in the middle. We are going to continue in this class. Okay, so this is the fourth day of the class. We are dealing with the long answer questions in the ecology and environment, continuation of the previous class. Okay, so sixth question will be the list out the major air pollutants and describe their effects on the human beings. So the question demanding that we have to discuss about the major air pollutants. What is pollutant and what is pollution? We are going to discuss about that and describe their effects on human beings. How that pollutants is having their effect in the human beings. Okay. So if we can divide this question into two parts. First, we have to discuss about the air pollutants. Okay, and we have to discuss the effects on the human beings. So these will be the two major subheadings. Under these headings we have many subheadings. Okay, so the major air pollutants and their effects on human beings. The first air pollutants. First, pollution means there will be a contamination in the air or water. If it is in the air, we are saying that as an air pollution. Okay, so the pollution, the substance which cause the pollution is called as a pollutant. So those substance which is causing the air pollution is, the first contributor will be the carbon monoxide. Okay, so the carbon monoxide, it produced incomplete combustion of the, produced due to the incomplete combustion of the fossil fuels. See, the burning of fossil fuels, there will be no complete burning of the fossil fuels. As a result of this incomplete burning, they are producing the carbon monoxide gases. Okay, so the major gases will be the automobile exhaust and the factory fumes, power plant emissions, forest fires, burning of firewood. So all these will be the major sources for the carbon monoxide emissions. Okay, so see, so we have studied about this respiratory pigment which is called as a hemoglobin. So this hemoglobin has a capacity to bind with the oxygen. Okay, so it is also have the capacity to bind with the carbon dioxide, and it is also have the capacity to bind with the carbon monoxide. So see, among all these things, hemoglobin has greater affinity for the carbon monoxide. See, just think, if there will be the concentration of this carbon monoxide is higher, then think hemoglobin will have their greater affinity towards the carbon monoxide, and all the cells are devoid of the oxygen. So this is the major air pollutant. Okay, so if the hemoglobin is attaching with the carbon monoxide, it interferes with the oxygen transport. That affects on the low concentrations. So that affects low concentration. Low concentration, it leads to headache and blurred vision. Okay, the vision is not that much proper. And in the higher concentration, it leads to the coma and the death. Okay. Now, so the carbon dioxide, the second major air pollutant will be the carbon dioxide. So this is a major pollutant contributing to the global warming. See, if the concentration of the carbon dioxide is higher in the atmosphere, it leads to the higher temperature. Okay, if there is a higher temperature, it leads to, see, there is two concepts which is called as an insolation and terrestrial radiation. Okay, so insolation means, see, this is a sun. Okay, so this is the earth. Okay, so the sun is giving their rays to the earth. Okay, so from the rays from the sun to the earth will be the insolation, and the earth is emitting some radiation, so that is called as a terrestrial radiations. Okay, see, what is the difference? See, whenever the radiation comes from the sun or the rays comes from the sun, it can be easily enter into the earth. Okay, so like in the same way, if there will be the radiation emitted from the earth, it has to come out from the earth, and it has to mixed with the space. Okay, so but it is not in this case of terrestrial radiation. So all the terrestrial radiation, all the gases which is present, the heat which is present inside the earth, present in the earth, that will be trapped in the atmosphere. So that is why the temperature will not get balanced. As a result, the temperature is getting increased in the earth. Okay, so as a result of increase in carbon dioxide, there will be increase in temperature, and it leads to a global warming. Okay, so this effect is called as a greenhouse effect. Okay, so this sources, what will be the sources of this carbon dioxide? So in the atmosphere, some of the organisms will be the contributor of increasing carbon dioxide. So the first will be the respiration by living organisms. See, we are the living organisms, and among many animals, we are inhaling the oxygen and we are exhaling the carbon dioxide. Okay, so the gas which is exhaled by the human beings, that will be absorbed by the plants for photosynthesis process. So what we are doing as a human beings, we are destroying all the plants. Okay, so as a result, the plants, see, this is what a photosynthesis process. Inorganic compounds, that is a raw material for photosynthesis, carbon dioxide and water, in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll, they are giving these glucose, and oxygen is emitting from this. Okay, so in the photosynthesis process, plant is inhaling the carbon dioxide and exhaling the oxygen. Okay, so they are inhaling the carbon dioxide that emitted by the human beings and other living organisms. Okay, so as a result, it is make use of this carbon dioxide and releasing the oxygen as a byproduct, and this oxygen is a gas, life supporting gas, that has been respired by the human beings and other organisms. So these gases will be balanced. So what if in case of less number of trees? Okay, there will be more number of carbon dioxide. So as a result, there will be increase in temperature. So there will be devoid of oxygen. So there will be a crash. Okay, so in the balance of the ecosystem. And also the third source will be the burning of fossil fuels. So whenever the fossil fuels are burning, carbon monoxide is also getting released and carbon dioxide is also getting released. And another major important thing will be the urbanization, automobiles, aeroplanes and power plants. See, urbanization. Urbanization means we have to cut more trees and we have to build many buildings. And automobiles, we are not using the public transport. Okay, so everybody is using their own vehicles. It leads to emissions of many gases like carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrous oxide, everything. And in also in aeroplanes, power plants. So these all these things are releasing the carbon dioxide. Okay, increasing concern due to the human activities. So finally, this anthropogenic activities will be the major source for releasing the carbon dioxide, right? Now the sulfur dioxide, they are produced by, again, burning of fossil fuels and melting the sulfur ores. Sulfur ores, see, there is a difference between the minerals and ores, and you know that. See, whenever we are melting those sulfur ores, the sulfur dioxide is getting released. And metals melting, industrial process. So by all these process, sulfur dioxide is getting released. What if the concentration of sulfur dioxide is increased in the atmosphere? It causes the acid rain. Okay, it causes the acid rain, acidification of soil and lakes and streams. Okay, the pH level will be more acid and it doesn't support any of the living organisms to survive in those ecosystems. Okay, so corrosion of buildings and monuments. Say for an example, Taj Mahal, because of the industry around the Taj Mahal, it is also getting destroyed. It is also getting degraded by all these sulfur dioxide, okay, released from the industry. So this sulfur dioxide also has the ability to erode all the buildings and important monuments. Okay, now what are all the health problems because of this sulfur dioxide? See, whenever we are inhaling the gas, not only oxygen, all the important gases are inhaled by the human beings. So whenever the sulfur dioxide is entered into the body of the human, it results in the breathing problems. Okay, if the person is experiencing with this asthma, they get into more trouble by inhaling the sulfur dioxide. And respiratory illness. Okay, so respiratory illness in the sense, so all the problems related to this respiration, okay, will be getting affected. And lung defense alterations. Okay, so whenever we are in the whenever the gas is polluted, whenever the gas is more polluted, see, whenever we are comparing the lungs of a person in Delhi and the person in the Tamil Nadu or in any other state. Okay, so whenever we are comparing the lungs of these two individuals, there will be a major difference. Okay, so the even the baby, newborn baby, they are having a lungs. Okay, so they are having a lungs that will be more polluted, which is present born in the Delhi, in the more polluted area. Okay, so in the normal, the less polluted area, it doesn't mean that all the other than Delhi, everything is very good maintained air condition. So it is not like that. More polluted and less polluted. That's it. Okay. So Delhi, their lung condition will be worse when compared to the other city, which is less polluted. Okay. So lung defense alteration. So lung is also getting altered. Okay, based on the pollutions. So aggravation of the cardiovascular issues. So if there will be no supply of oxygen, immediately all the visceral organs is getting affected, no doubt in that, and more specifically heart. Okay, and how to control this? Scrubbers used to remove the sulfur dioxide from the exhaust gases. So we have to control all these emission of these dangerous gases to reduce the to improve the air quality, to reduce the air pollutant. Okay, so nitrogen oxide, so this will be the fourth major air pollutant. So the major primary pollutants will be these nitrogen oxides. And what will be the source? That will be the automobile exhaust due to the vehicles. Okay, so what will be the effect? It will be harmful to humans, animals, even plants. Okay, this is also causing the acid rain. Not only the sulfur dioxide, this nitrogen oxide is also causing the acid rain and photochemical smog. Smog is nothing but a smoke plus fog. Smoke plus fog, we are calling them as the photochemical smog. Okay, so whenever the light, photo means light. Okay, due to the chemical present in the presence of light, they are converting into the smog. So in the plants, the necrotic spots on the leaves, the leaves, there we can see the some of the spots will be there. Okay, so that will be leads to the degradation of this leaf and reduced photosynthesis. As the necrotic spots present in the leaves, they couldn't perform the process of photosynthesis, and lower crop yield. Okay, so obviously the crop yield is also getting affected. So it forms peroxyacetyl nitrate, that is PAN, PAN. Okay, so the full form of PAN will be the peroxyacetyl nitrate. So this is the another, this is the form of nitrogen oxide. So this is the secondary pollutants. It leads to irritation in the eyes, and also it is affecting the respiratory tract. Okay, now particulate matter or aerosols. See, what is meant by particulate matter? Whenever we are reading the newspaper, we often tend to come across these words. Okay, particulate matter, so now, or aerosols. See, this particulate matter is a tiny solid particle suspended in a gas or a liquid. Okay, so solid particle which is suspended in a gas or in a liquid. So that is called as a particulate matter. Then aerosols. See here, that will be the liquid droplets that is dispersed in a gas. Okay, the liquid in gas is called as an aerosols. Okay, so how this particulate matter is getting released, in which source? So that will be obviously the combustion of fossil fuels. Okay, so majorly all the big pollutants will be emitted only from burning of this fossil fuels, and fly ash from thermal plants. Okay, so that ash is also emitting the, that ash is considered as a particulate matter. And forest fires, obviously whenever we are firing something, particulate matter will be emitted. Cement factories, majorly asbestos mining and spinning and ginning mills, so all these will be considered as a source of this particulate matters. And according to CPCB means Central Pollution Control Board. Okay, so Central Pollution is Control Board, they are the one monitoring the quality of the air. Okay, so particulate matter less than or equal to 2.5 micrometers are highly harmful to humans. So we are having particulate PM10. Okay, PM10 and PM2.5. Okay, so those which are having less than 2.5, which are very harmful to humans and air breathing organisms. Okay, so this is the most important factual information. Okay, now, so these are all the air pollution. So far we have considered the air pollutant. See how I have framed the answer. See, just listen to me. So I have listed the air pollutants. Okay, so carbon monoxide, what will be their source and what will be their effects on human beings. So if you present the answer like this, it will be very easy for correction as well as for getting marks. Okay, so carbon monoxide, their source and their effects. Okay, so after that, carbon dioxide, their source and how it is affecting the humans. And sulfur dioxide, same thing, it is produced, how it is produced, what is their cause, and what will be their effects on the atmosphere. And nitrogen oxide, again their source and its effects. Okay, so always present the answer like this. Okay, based on the demand of the question, you have to adjust your answer. Now, what are all the causes of this water pollution, and suggest some measures to control the water pollution. Okay, so what is water pollution? The pollution in water, it is called as a water pollution. So what will be the important causes of this water pollution? See, what domestic sewage, so major source of this water pollution in cities and towns. Okay, so the major source of water pollution, that will be in cities and towns rather than in village. So what are all the main pollutants which is affecting the water? It leads to water pollution. Okay, so that contains human and animal excreta and other waste materials, mainly by the excretion. Okay, so our government is giving all the measures to overcome this open defecation. Okay, so in humans it can be reduced, but in animals we can't restrict the animals. Okay, so that's a major thing. So they contains animal and human excreta and other waste materials. Okay, now usually released directly into freshwater bodies or the sea. Okay, so it is directly enter into the freshwater bodies and the sea. And if the excretory products enter into the freshwater bodies, obviously those water bodies will not be readily available to for the domestic use. And also if it is mixed with the sea, and entire sea is getting spoiled. So based on the excretion excreted by those organisms, the organisms which is present in that water body is also getting affected. So obviously the entire ecosystem will get damaged because of this excretion. So only 0.1 points of impurities, see, only 0.1 point of impurities makes water unfit for the human consumption. But now the impurities will be more than 0.1. Okay, so solids are easy to remove, and dissolved salts, nitrates, phosphates, toxic metal ions, organic compounds are difficult to eliminate. See, if it is a solid, we can easily filter it. We can easily filter all those solid materials. If it is dissolved with those water body, how can we remove? It will be very difficult to eliminate. Okay. So it contains biodegradable organic matter decomposed by the bacteria and the microorganisms. Definitely there will be the decomposers. So for us, what will be the decomposers? Those which is breaking the complex organisms, complex substances into simpler substances. So major decomposers will be the bacteria and the other microorganisms. Okay, so what will be the effect of this particular water pollution? If the water is getting polluted, it results in the biological oxygen demand. Okay, so consider this as a water body. Okay, consider this as a water body. So if many microorganisms, so there will be the many microorganisms present here. Okay, there will be more microorganisms. See, consider there will be the just say for an example, for your better understanding, 50 oxygen molecules will be present. Okay, and 50 microorganisms will be present. Okay, 50 microorganisms will be present and 50 oxygen molecules will be present. Okay, and some of the plants which is performing the photosynthesis is also present in this particular water body. Okay, now the microorganisms which is present in this body is present in this water body will make use of this oxygen and releasing the carbon dioxide, and that oxygen will be released by the plant as a result of photosynthesis, and the carbon dioxide which is released by the microorganisms which make use by this plants. So there will be a balanced thing. So what if there will be many pollutions, which means many nutrients from the domestic, from the domestic agricultural waste, household waste, everything will be mixed in this body. Consider this is a scenario where all the waste is mixed with this water body. Now the microorganisms will getting increased. Okay, so the number of microorganisms will be more. Okay, so it will be increased. So now the plants, the concentration of the number of plants will be similar, and the number of oxygen molecules will be released by these plants is also similar, but the concentration of microorganisms will be more. Okay, now what happens? So there will be no oxygen for all the microorganisms. So this is what biological oxygen demand. Okay, so it measures. So you can easily understand what why we have to measure this BOD. If BOD is higher, if the biological oxygen demand is higher, you should know the pollution is also higher. Okay, it will be directly proportional with each other. If the biological oxygen demand is higher, obviously the pollution is also higher in that particular water body. Okay, so it measures the biologically degradable substances. Microorganisms consumes the oxygen, it sharply decline. Why? Because there will be no proper oxygen. Okay, so sharply decline in the oxygen death. So as there will be no oxygen, there will be death of fish and aquatic animals. Okay, so this is what a major thing. So next, another thing will be the algal blooms. So again, consider this as a water body. Sorry. 1 minute. Wait, 1 minute. Yes. So algal blooms. So whenever we are seeing this particular, where is it? Yes. See, algal blooms. Algal blooms in the sense, see, there will be an excess nutrients. If the nutrients will be higher. So what I have discussed before, so the biological oxygen demand, so it is measuring if the BOD is higher, the pollution in the water body is also higher. Okay, so now the algal blooms, if the nutrients is higher, okay, so if the nutrients is more, it causes the excessive growth of this planktonic algae. Okay, so if there is more nutrient, it leads to more growth of algae. Okay, more nutrients and more algae, so it imparts distinct color, deteriorates the water quality, causes the fish mortality. See, you can have the experience that this is a water body and all the surface of the water body will be covered by this green color, and the green color is nothing but an algae. Okay, all because of the rich in nutrients. So this is called as an algal bloom. Okay, so whenever the surface of the body is covered by this algae, the sunlight can't penetrate within it properly. Okay, so that is what it is, deteriorates the water quality. This leads to the fish mortality. Okay, so some algae are toxic to humans as well as the animals. So this is an important thing. So this is what an algal blooms. Now what next one will be the aquatic weeds. Okay, so aquatic weeds, Icornia crassip, so that is nothing but a water hyacinth. Okay, so this is a weed. Okay, so this is a weed which is present in the water body, technically called as an Icornia crassips. So that grows rapidly in the eutrophic waters. Eutrophic waters in the sense where that water is rich in the nutrients. So that is what eutrophic waters. It blocks the waterways, disrupt the ecosystem dynamics. Okay, so if all the Iconia will be present, grow rapidly in the water, all the other organisms will not get enough sunlight. Okay, will not function their proper, will not do their own function properly. So it disrupts the other life cycle of the other organisms. So automatically it disrupting the entire ecosystem. Okay, so untreated sewage from homes and hospitals may contain the pathogenic microorganisms. See, if the sewage is untreated, okay, so from the homes it leads, there some of the water outlets will have all the waters which is vessel washing waters and dress washing waters, everything will be considered as a sewage if that is untreated. And hospitals may contain the pathogenic microorganisms. All these gives a way to for diseases like dysentery, typhoid, jaundice and cholera. See, have make a note of it. Dysentery, typhoid, jaundice and cholera, all these are the main important diseases which is caused to the human beings only by the poor hygienic conditions. Okay, not only majorly by the hygienic conditions. Okay, so industrial effluents, so industrial effluent, the waste which is excreted from the industry, that is what industrial effluents. So if it is untreated, it pollute the rivers and all the freshwater streams. Okay, so if the industry is not industry's waste is not treated properly, it is also going to pollute all the rivers and the freshwater streams. Okay, so why it is going to pollute all the rivers? Because all the waste excreted sewage, industrial sewage, it contains the inorganic and organic pollutants. You know how the industrial waste will be. It is rich in oils, greases, plastics, metallic waste, suspended solids and toxins. All these will be considered as a pollutants which is going to pollute all the freshwater body. And another major toxic substances will be this arsenic. Okay, these are all the heavy metals which is going to destroy a wide range of microorganisms and even many other organisms also. So arsenic, cadmium, copper, chromium, mercury, zinc and nickel, these are considered as a heavy metal which is going to destroy a major organisms in the water body. Okay, so what will be their effect? So increased substances cause increase in BOD and the COD. BOD means biological oxygen demand, COD means chemical oxygen demand. Both of these demand leads to oxygen depletion. If there will be an increase in BOD and COD, definitely it results, it means what it is meaning, what the meaning of this increase in BOD and COD means, it will be pollution is higher. Okay. Now, the inorganic substances make water unfit for the drinking. Okay, so the inorganic substances make water. So those, if the pollution is higher, can we drink those water? No, it will be unfit for the drinking purposes. Outbreaks of waterborne diseases due to sewage pollution. So definitely it leads to waterborne diseases, what we have seen before slide. See, biomagnification, another important thing. So important concept will be the biomagnification. If, see, just listen to me very carefully. If there is an increase in concentration of the pollutants, okay, the pollutants is higher. Okay, so if the pollutants is higher, this is a trophic level: producer, primary consumer, secondary consumer, tertiary consumer, which means first trophic level, second trophic level, third trophic level and fourth trophic level. Okay, so now the toxic substances not metabolized or excreted, it passed to the higher level. So this is an important thing. So as it is a toxic substances, it is not getting digested. That's what, it is not metabolized, or even it is not even excreted, but instead it is present in the body of the organism, those who have intake those toxic substances. So that toxic substances which is present in the body of that particular organism which is present in the second trophic level. Consider the organisms which is present in the second trophic level, which is eaten by the organisms in the third trophic level. Obviously, the toxic substances present in the second trophic level will be moved to the third trophic level. Okay, so just to make a note of it, this toxic substances it is not getting metabolized or even excreted. Okay, so the example will be the DDT. See, DDT concentration increases from 0.3 ppb in water to 25 ppm in fish eating birds. Okay, whenever it is in the fish, If the concentration will be very low. Okay, so this fish eating birds, they will eat many. See, consider this as a water body. Here many small fishes are present here. Many small fishes, in all their body their heavy metals is mixed in their body. Okay, so consider a bird is eating all these fishes, so all the toxic materials will be enter into the body of this particular bird. Okay, so obviously the concentration of the toxic materials is also higher in the birds when compared to the body of the fish. Okay, so higher DTD levels disturb the calcium metabolism, thinning of eggshells, premature breaking, decline in the bird population. So ultimately it is affecting the reproduction process. Okay, so if there will be no quality of this egg, the eggshell has to be very hard. Okay, so if the eggshell is very thin, it can be easily damaged by the external factor and it can't produce the enough population. Okay, so this is what a biomagnification, an important factor. Okay, so another important thing will be the eutrophication. Okay, so natural aging of lakes due to the nutrient enrichment. So again, if the nutrient will be higher, so how the nutrient will be higher? Because all the waste materials from the houses, from the industry, from the agriculture, everything will be mixed with the water body, so it leads to the nutrient enrichment. So as the nutrient has been enriched, it leads to algal blooms and it leads to eutrophication. So finally, eutrophication in the sense aging of lakes due to the nutrient enrichment. Right, now what will be the nutrients? That will be nitrates or in the phosphates that will be carried to the lakes. The growth of algae and aquatic plants, obviously it leads to the algal growth and the aquatic plants. Okay, so the organic matter accumulates, the organic matter will get accumulated with it. The lake becomes shallower and warmer. See, as a result of more organic matter, it is getting accumulated in the water body. Now what happens to the lake? It becomes shallower and warmer. The temperature of the lake is getting affected. Now cold water organisms replaced by the warm water organisms. As the temperature is getting varied, so all the cold water organisms, temperature is getting increased. As a result of increase in temperature, the organisms which is cold water organism has been replaced by the warm water organisms. Eventually it is converting into land. Okay, so this is what aging of lakes. Okay, so as I said, the concentration of water is getting decreased, the amount of water is getting reduced, and also the lakes become shallower, it leads to the land. Okay, so there will be a less number of water because of this eutrophication. What if there is an acceleration of this particular eutrophication? It is caused by this anthropogenic pollutants, that is nothing but a man-made. Okay, sewage, agriculture, industrial waste, this was caused by this accelerated eutrophication. Depletes the dissolved oxygen. So all the required amount of oxygen is getting reduced. Okay. So pollutants, a poison fish. Okay, this pollutants, poison fish, decomposition further depletes the oxygen. So we know that if there is a more decomposition, it needs more oxygen. So all the decomposers will make use of more oxygen. Further decomposition depletes the oxygen process. So this is what a phenomena if the eutrophication is getting accelerated. Okay, now thermal pollution. So what is thermal pollution? How is it is getting affected the water? Okay, so hot water from the thermal power plants and the industries. Okay, so as I said before, this is a water body. The temperature, always the water will be very cold. It is not always, it maintains certain temperature. We can say the temperature will be very low. Okay, but whenever this thermal pollution, hot water will be mixed with this water body, the temperature is getting higher. Okay, so if the temperature is getting higher, all the cold bodied animals, cold water animals will getting affected. Say for an example, eliminates the sensitive organisms. Juvenile fish, needs the water body which is lesser in their temperature. Okay, so may enhance the growth in the colder areas but damage the indigenous flora and fauna. So this is what a phenomena experienced by this thermal pollution. So now what are all the measures we can take to control this water pollution? First we have to treat the sewage. So first and foremost thing we have to do will be the sewage treatment. Sewage must be treated before the discharge. Okay, so before it has been mixed with the water, we have to treat the sewage, and we can make that water to mix with the a water body. Okay, so removal of solids is easy, but dissolved salts, as we have discussed before, solid removal will be very easy. It can be done in the primary treatment itself. The dissolved salts and primary compounds has to be removed only by the secondary and tertiary treatment. It needs an advanced treatment. Okay, so that's what with respect to the sewage treatment. And the second one will be the industrial effluent management. Okay, so industrial effluent management, in an effluents must be treated to remove heavy metals and toxins. Okay, so effluents must treated to remove the, see all these industrial, what we have discussed before, all the heavy metals and toxins has been released from the industrial sewage. So all these has to be removed. Okay, so enforcement of pollution control norms. Okay, so we have to, so we have studied CPCB, Central Pollution Control Board. A little bit the norms has to be little bit very strict. Okay, so and the third one will be the ecological sanitation, ecosan toilets, another important thing. Dry compositing toilets avoid water usage. Okay, it will be hygienic, effluent and cost effective. It converts the human excreta into the natural fertilizer. Okay, they are converting the, so here there will be no use of the water usage, and before that they are converting the human excreta into the natural fertilizer. Okay, as it is a natural fertilizer, we can reduce the use of the fertilizers made of chemicals. Okay, so it is used in Kerala and the Sri Lanka. Okay, now control of this eutrophication, how we can control the eutrophication. So we have studied what is eutrophication. Okay, natural aging. So reduce the discharge of nitrates and the phosphates. So if there will be less number of nitrates and phosphates, it results in the reduced number of eutrophication. So promote sustainable agricultural practices. So these are the methods to control the eutrophication. And one more thing will be the monitoring and legislation. So even though we are control, we take some measures to control all these pollutants, we have to monitor that properly, whether all these things are implemented properly or not. Okay, regular monitoring of water bodies. Okay, so legislation, so we have studied that Ganga. Okay, Ganga river. So this Ganga river, it is considered as sacred. Okay, so whenever the human will be getting enter into this Ganga, bath in this Ganga, all the sins done by this human will be removed. Okay, so it is a spiritual thing, religious belief. But what if the condition now, if we are going to bath in Ganga, so all the waste in the Ganga will be, all the microorganisms will be enter into the human. Okay, so now the Ganga is polluting the humans whenever we are going to bath. So this is the condition, it is in reverse condition. So we have to monitor all those water bodies, implementation of water prevention control. So this is the Water Act, prevention and control of pollution. Okay, so these are all the legislation. Legislation is nothing but a law. Okay, law made by the parliament. Now, so these are all the water pollution. So we have studied the air pollution and water pollution. Now we are going to study about this soil pollution. Okay, what is how the soil is getting polluted, and what are all the measures to control the soil pollution. Okay, so the soil pollution and what are all the measures. So soil pollution refers to the degradation of the soil quality. Again, the soil quality is in check. Okay, the soil quality is in check due to the presence of the harmful substances. Okay, due to the harmful substances, the quality of soil is getting affected. It is primarily caused by the accumulation of solid waste, hazardous chemicals and radioactive materials. Okay, so it is primarily caused by this accumulation of the solid waste. Okay, solid waste, hazardous chemicals and radioactive materials. This pollution poses serious threats to agriculture, groundwater and public health. See how the see, we have studied soil pollution means degradation of soil quality. How the soil quality is getting degraded due to the presence of this harmful substances, and that harmful substances is caused by this That is solid waste, hazardous chemicals and radioactive materials. So all these things is the major cause of the soil pollution. See, if the soil is getting polluted, what are all the threats we are going to face? That is, we can't do agriculture. Okay, agriculture can be done only in the fertile soil. Okay, so if the soil fertility is getting reduced, how can we do agriculture? If the agriculture is getting affected, the entire India is getting affected, because agriculture, Indian economy is an agricultural economy. Okay, so entire economy is getting affected. Now the groundwater and the public health, everything is going to be in check if the soil is getting polluted, right? So you have to know that, do we are responsible for this pollution? Yes, of course we are responsible for this pollution. Okay, at least we have to remove, dispose the waste. The minimal thing. Okay, so the basic thing we can do is, we can proper the we can dispose the waste properly, which means during the public, if we eat something, we have to dispose in the dustbin. Okay, so this is the basic thing at least we can do for our environment. Okay, because the atmosphere is giving us many things. Okay, so for that, in return, we don't want to do the big thing, but we only thing we can do is not to pollute the atmosphere. Okay, so municipal solid waste generate from the homes, offices, shops, hotels and institutions. Okay, municipal solid waste means the waste are generated from all these things. Okay, homes, offices, shops, hotels and institutions. It includes paper, food waste, plastics, glass, metals, rubber, leather, textiles. So all these will be the considered as the solid waste. If all these waste are dumped and partially burnt in open areas, it is not even completely burned. Okay, so just now we have studied. So if we burned all the things, definitely the sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, everything will be released. Again, it is going to affect the air. Okay, so burning is also a problem. Okay, so it is creating a breeding grounds for many pests. Okay, so mosquito, basically the mosquito, wherever the mosquito is seeing the stagnant water, they love to breed there. Okay, so that is what, if we avoid all these breeding places, we can easily eliminate the major diseases. Okay, so simply if we remove the stagnant water, remove the near our house, we can easily eliminate the mosquito. The amount of mosquito, the population of mosquito can be easily avoided. Okay, so that is what. Okay, so sanitary landfills are used as an alternatives where waste is compacted and covered with the soil. So sanitary landfills is used as an alternative. Now what will be the risk? The chemical sewage from the landfills contaminates the underground water. Okay, if we dumped all the waste under the soil, our groundwater is getting affected. Again, the groundwater has been drilled by the human and we can't even use the groundwater itself. Okay, because we are spoiling everything. And how can we can demand the nature to give all those things? Okay, so hospital waste, the waste which is eliminated from the hospital. It contains the disinfectants, toxic chemicals, pathogen microorganisms, definitely. So those people who are going to the hospital, they are taking many tests. If one person having the crucial, where serious diseases, if that blood has been made in contact with the other normal healthy person, obviously it has been transmitted to that person to the normal healthy person. So we have to, these are all the serious concerns we are facing. Okay, so require, so definitely hospital waste needs the incineration. Incineration means burning for safe disposal to prevent the soil and water contamination. Okay, so hospital waste, the only way to remove the hospital waste will be to have to do the incineration process. What about the electronic waste? So we are nowadays, everybody is having the gadgets. Okay, so if one gadget is not working properly, we are throwing it and we are buying the new one. Okay, so what that waste, what that mobile phone isn't, that is an e-waste. Okay, so it includes irreparable computers, electronic devices, often buried or incinerated, exported to developing countries for manual recycling. So this is what exactly doing. Okay, so workers are exposed to toxic materials like lead, mercury and cadmium. These are all the heavy metals which is very toxic. Okay, so recycling is essential but must be environmentally safe. Okay, so all these things we are facing with respect to this e-waste. Now what about this agrochemicals? Okay, so agrochemicals in the sense excessive use of fertilizers. Okay, excessive use of fertilizers, pesticides, herbicides and fungicides. Okay, post green revolution, so all these things will be the agrochemicals. Okay, harm not target organisms like earthworms and nitrogen fixing bacteria. So agrochemicals means, agro means agriculture, chemicals means what is the function of chemicals in the agriculture? Is nothing but a fertilizer. Okay, so we are using the maximum number of fertilizers, whatever it is available in the market, in name of killing the pesticides, we are buying it and we are throwing it in the agricultural field. Automatically it is going to affect our natural friend of farmer, which is called as an earthworm, and many of the bacteria which is friendly to fix the nitrogen, everything will be getting affected. Okay, so it causes the biomagnification, obviously. So just now we have studied what is biomagnification and eutrophication. So if we use the chemicals, automatically the chemicals will be in this the body of these organisms also. If someone is eating this earthworm, that organism is also having this chemical. So this is what a biomagnification, and also it leads to eutrophication in nearby aquatic ecosystem. So these are all an immense thing. Okay, that we can imagine, we can't even imagine. Okay, so the fifth one will be the radioactive waste. Okay, so generated from the nuclear power plants. Okay, so the most dangerous, okay, it is from the nuclear power plants. Okay, so nuclear power plants is generating, and the waste eliminated from the nuclear power plants will be radioactive metals. Okay, so the radiations. So radiations will affect the human to the genetic level, that is DNA level. So definitely it leads to mutations. Obviously it leads to cancers like leukemia. Okay, so we have to be make sure about that. So that is why we elder people will always keep on saying just stay away from many important gadgets, even the mobile phones, even the laptops. Okay, so we can't even know the what the impact of that rays emitting from all those things. Okay. No. Disposal involves burial in shielded containers deep in soils or oceans. So burials is also again affecting the deeper organisms. Now, uh, whenever we are if we want to avoid all these things, we need this many strong containers, where the containers is not giving a way for that radioactive waste to from the container. So we need that much shielded containers that has to be present in deep in soil or in the ocean. This is the only way. Okay, geological disturbances may expose buried waste, causing the long-term hazards. So definitely this is the long-term hazards. So, so how, first thing, how we can measure, okay, how we can control all these things. Waste segregation and management. So government has given one way to, they will keep 3 dustbins. Okay, that is biodegradable, non-biodegradable and recycle. They will they will have 3 dustbins. Okay, so illiterate people, they don't know what is sometimes in the dustbin itself they have been mentioned that in their own native language itself. Okay, so but we are in a position, we are running out of time. Okay, that we are not having any time to manage all our own activities. We are spoiling the environment. See, at least they are keeping the 3 dustbins. At least we can dispose the waste in the respective dustbins. We can't even do that. Okay, so this is the serious concern as in well educated people. Okay, so as in literate people, as a people, we are working in different areas. Okay, so they are very living in an they are hygienic in their home, but they are following an unhygienic practices in the environment. Okay, so is this what so always the nature have this give and take policy. If you give, I will give, that's all. If you can't give, then I will show my real face. So this is the scenario. Okay, so at least we can dispose the waste in the respective dustbins. Okay, so this is the basic thing at least we can do. Okay, So government is taking one step, we have to take one step. At least we are going to live a happy life in the peaceful environment. Okay, so always have the habit of throwing the waste in the respective dustbins. Okay, so biodegradable waste, it is composed in deep pits, and recyclable waste is separated and it has to be reused, and non biodegradable waste, they are disposed safely. It will be easy for the sweepers working there. Okay, so you can't even imagine how you are reducing their work. Okay, so it is our responsibility to take all these things. Now, reduction of garbage generation. Okay, so if we are going to if many waste are spoiling the environment, especially the soil, at least we can reduce the garbage generation. We can reduce, see, we can't, if we throw, if there is a one paper, we can easily dispose. If we tear all the paper into many small pieces, so this is what an extra workload for everyone. Okay, so minimize the use of polythene. Okay, polythene will be replaced by some cloth bag and polystyrene and plastic packaging. Now I think there is a concept called single use plastic once upon a time, but now it has been again the same thing is happening using the polythene bag. Okay, now in many of the shops they are also giving the cloth bag. Okay, now it is improving slowly, very slowly. Promote eco-friendly alternatives like cloth or the jute bags, right? Now, how the public awareness, educate the citizens on environment impacts of the waste. How the waste is creating the environment, how the waste is again affecting us, we have to know that. Okay, so encourage responsible consumer behavior and the waste disposal. Okay, so this is how we can easily at least we can reduce the pollution, soil pollution. Safe disposal of the hazardous waste and sustainable agriculture. See, what is safe disposal of hazardous waste? Yeah, hazardous waste means generally it is a hospital waste or it is a radioactive waste. We have to develop a proper infrastructure to degrade all those waste. Okay. Radioactive waste is stored in the shielded or secure location. So this is the thing. And sustainable agriculture. It reduces the dependence on chemical fertilizers and pesticides. Okay. So this is the one. Sustainable agriculture means in agriculture we can reduce the use of these chemicals. Okay, so that we can give life to many of the organisms which is friendly to the agriculture. Okay, so promote organic farming, integrated pest management. Okay, so soil pollution is a critical environmental issue that demands immediate attention. So we are polluting the soil that much violently. Okay, vibrantly. So through this proper waste management, sustainable practices and public awareness, we can protect the soil health and ensure the safer ecosystem for the future generations. Okay. So that's all about today's class. We'll meet you in the next class. Okay. Thank you.